friends, enemies, frenemies, people I've scorned, or people I've left satisfied. I just want to let every one of you know that life is beautiful. And be thankful for just maybe the smallest thing in your life, you know? Like, think of something right now. Right now. Forget everything that's bad today that happened to you. Think of something right now that you're just the slightest bit happy for. Do you have it? Do you have it? Good. Welcome to the Who Cares podcast.
Welcome to the Who Cares podcast, a podcast that enters your soul with your host, Stephen Moraga.
So, this past week, something crazy happened to me. I mean, on a level of like, if there's unimaginable is like up here, and which would probably be like, war in Afghanistan going and pulling the guts out of your fellow soldier's chest. That would be unimaginable, right? And then like where like drama would be more like where like a lot of like high school girls would be like, that would be like number one. So from 1 to like 15 would be Afghanistan, and 1 would be like, oh my God, I can't believe Trevor didn't talk to me in class. My experience was pretty much at a, let's see, maybe a 10, 11, 12. So, I mean, you tell me. I'm not really sure. I almost lost my eyeball, my left one, which I didn't even know was possible 2 weeks ago. Unfortunately, I was a big dum-dum. I woke up in the morning, and I slothily walked to the refrigerator, and I opened the refrigerator and grabbed whatever it was. I was barely awake, and I'd fell asleep on the couch downstairs here. And then I turn around real quick, boom, and run right into the dividing wall like a complete idiot. That's right. I admit it. Me, Stephen Moraga, complete idiot. Ran right into the wall. And you know what happened after that? I went down to one knee like I was seeing some stars. I mean, that's crazy. I've never in my life, I don't know if anybody else has, maybe, but it's a weird feeling that, and my first instinct was to beat the fuck out of the wall, but then I had to pull back because I don't want my hand now broken too, right? So it's a weird dynamic, right? So what happened was a couple of days later, I start to see these flashes, swirls all the way around. And I thought, oh fuck. I've heard about this. This could be like a detached retina possibly, but nah, nothing's like that. I'm young. Who knows, what the fuck? It's not going to happen to me. And then all of a sudden, what do you know? It starts getting worse and worse. And, of course, it's the weekend. So, like, you're not going to go to emergency. Like, what kind of eye doctors are those? They deal with like shotgun blasts and heart attacks and shit. So I waited till Monday. And, of course, no offense to my optometrist or whatever his name is, optician. He's actually a doctor. He couldn't see me until Tuesday, but these lights started to kind of fade out a little bit, so I wasn't that concerned. But I do wear contacts, and I guess I do have nearsightedness, but whatever. So Tuesday comes around, and I go in there just expecting. We start joking around like we normally do. Ha ha, doctor, how you doing? Ha ha ha, yeah, blah blah blah. And then all of a sudden, my appointment was at 2. Then all of a sudden, it starts to get to like 3:30, and he's still on the same eye, and you could tell this man was not too happy with what he's seen. In fact, he kind of he thought maybe the thing was fogged up or what on his little light lens thing or whatever, and he's putting me through all these rigmarole of tests. So it's getting closer to 4 o'clock, and he says, you know what? I don't know what your insurance company is like, but I need you to go over here to the Retina Institute. It's right around pretty close to the office. I would suggest that if you want to wait for your insurance, but my suggestion is I'm going to call them right now. They probably close at 5. It's 4 o'clock. I'm going to try and get you in there as fast as I can. And thank God for this man, because he did. So I go over there. There's a lot of people at the Retina Institute who knew a lot of people had retina issues. That's weird. But I go right in there. The lady tells me, where's your mask? So I'm thinking, well, isn't time of the essence? But I guess, okay, I'll go out. And we're in Orange County where it's not really like mandatory. But okay, hopefully my eyeball doesn't tear on the way out. And then I come back in, and then they kind of push me through all these tests, take out my contacts. I can't see anybody. So for the next hour and a half, I'm going through all these different tests that I never expected when I woke up in the morning. And then the doctor kind of sits me down and he says, and I just want to leave. I mean, we're going on now like 4 hours of something to do with my eye. I'm not really sure what's going on yet. And so he sits me down and he says, well, you do have two tiny little tears of your retina. And I looked at him like, oh, fuck. And he said, well, we got to schedule, surgery for you. And I said, okay, well, yeah, let's do it. Like, when is it, tomorrow or Thursday? Let's do it like as quick as we can. Right, doctor? And he goes, Stephen, you need to have it done now. Now, granted, I've never been to this institute ever. I haven't even had the chance to Yelp them. What would you do? I haven't even been able to see their face because my contacts are out. But the severity, and they were very professional throughout all the rigmarole of tests that they gave me. But I had to trust that this guy's going to save my eye, because you tear your retina, you're done, man. You're blind. And I think that's what I'm at, like so much peace right now. As strange as that sounds, like, yes, I haven't been able to accomplish all the things I want to do this week and for business and other things. And I mean, just a whole plethora of different things. But, when you're faced with the reality of losing your left eye, and if you just waited a little bit longer, or maybe had that girl told me to get my mask, well, I did go get that mask. Maybe she probably shouldn't have done that, but maybe she should have given me one. Maybe that would be the only knock. Get your voice heard. When everybody is out there on the streets just waiting to go viral, you have another opportunity. And that is to come to anchor.info. Download the free Anchor app and join us here at the What's the Play family. And make sure that you DM us here, Stephen, at Who Cares the Podcast, or go to info@whatstheplay.net so you can join our family. We'll promote the shit out of you. We will promote everything about you. Make sure you're cool. We're not going to promote some of you weirdos. We're going to make sure we promote you, because everybody needs their voice to be heard. Everybody during this time needs that voice, right? Don't you need that voice? You can go global tomorrow. Just join anchor.fm. Go to anchor.fm to get started, all right? But make sure more than all that, you join the What's the Play family. Info@whatstheplay.net will help you set it up, will help you go through all the situational things that you need to do. And tomorrow morning, we'll make sure that you get your voice heard. Against this place. But $2,000 later, I think my eye's worth $2,000, don't you think? But I'm really, I don't know how to explain it. Like, nothing really can go wrong in your life now when you're faced with that kind of adversity. And maybe that's nothing to, like I said, to level 15, where unfortunately our brave men and women had to go through for the last 20 years in a godforsaken country that nobody let it be. And these men and women had to watch, pick up the guts of the people that they love and care the most about, that had their back, had they been on the other side, or had it been reversed. I mean, so it wasn't a level 15, but losing your eye, or the potential, and you don't know, and you're putting your trust into system or into this doctor I've never met, this place I've never been to. I haven't even seen their real faces because I can't see very well without my contacts. That explains a lot, right? Some of you ladies out there. But no, but on a real note, like I just want to say thank you to them. I mean, so far so good. Maybe next week when I'm had some complications or something, but I don't think so. I think everything's healing real well, knock on wood. And I was meant for bigger and better things, and my eye was supposed to be in my eye socket and not be dark. But it really makes you think, right? Everything can change in a moment, all because of my dumbass running into the middle of a wall. So this week we had California elections. Speaking of dumbasses, we had a plethora of dumbasses in this election cycle. There was, cast of characters that California likes to present. I'm surprised a homeless man didn't run. If I were homeless, I would have ran because, there's so many, you might have just won off that vote. I don't know why anybody didn't think about that one, but I guess Larry Elder thought he would get the minority vote, except that all minorities don't like him. I used to be not a fan of his, but I used to think he was very pragmatic, very logical in his thinking. I thought sometimes he was pandering, but you got to know people for what they are. And I think that he is what he is. He's a radio host. But I thought that he was logical in many times. But I also thought that it sounded like he was kissing up sometimes. Not to say he's an Uncle Tom or anything like that. Who am I to say that? I'm obviously not the African American race, so I can't say that. But there would be times when I'd say, well, that's a little weird. And then one of my friends brought this up to me about Larry Elder, and then he said that, and I looked it up. Excuse me, I'm still battling it's been a crazy couple weeks since I got back from Dallas. But what my friend explained to me was, why don't you take a look at this interview with Candace Owens that he had? And in that he said, and he was using it, I understand, as an example, I guess, that reparations for African Americans are abhorrent, and they're, if we do that, then we should do this or the other. But you really can't do that because people were slaves, not just African Americans or black people back then, but there have been slaves throughout history. So anybody that owned slaves knew, they had a Bible, right? They knew that Moses freed slaves. It's not right. Just because it's legal, just because it is or not. So Larry Elder's opinion was that if we're going to give reparations to families of slave owners or slave owners, families of slaves, then why don't we give money to the owners because they lost their property because it was legal at the time? Now, maybe in legal sense, that makes sense, I guess, but no. You can't walk away from that one. And it made me lose all respect. I don't care what kind of point he was trying to make. Maybe he's trying to say the absurdity of it. That's fine. But maybe it's not that absurd to some people. That particular subject is one that I don't know if you can use an absurd kind of reference. Absolutely no. I don't care if it's legal. Just because it's legal doesn't mean it's right. There's many things right now that I could be doing that are legal, but morally reprehensible, none of which is the fact that I would even own a person. But I think everybody that did own a person, and was very few, a lot of people wanted to think that there was, so many plantation owners. No, these were very rich plantation owners, and they were smaller percentage than we really actually think. However, they did have the majority of the slaves. And so anyways, to own a person means that your soul is owned by some other entity that I don't even want to know, because you knew better. And I never want to hear anything about, well, that was the time period. And no matter what generation, whether it be in the 1800s, whether it be in the 1400s, whether it be in BC times, whatever. Either you're a complete psychopath or sociopath and enjoy that and assume the fact that you couldn't be an influencer on your own. So you had to be you had to lay back on your arrogance, and you had to lay back on your status that you were probably born into. Or if you did achieve it, that's arrogance and some sort of bizarre fucking something within you that is weak. A weak man owns another man. And that's the end of the story. So for Larry Elder to even come across and say something as ridiculous as that made me lose all respect for him. So congratulations to Gavin Newsom. I don't know if I'm really, he didn't do any worse than any other governor except for Mario Cuomo probably did, what's his name? Andrew Cuomo or whatever his name is. One of the Cuomos. He did a horrific job. He killed, how many people with blood on his hands? He put old people in with COVID. Around each other. He might as well just put them in a damn gas chamber. But Gavin Newsom didn't do any, he's done some crazy things out here. And the mask thing is a little ridiculous and, but it looks like not one governor did anything of any value. So to recall this man, based on what? Nobody acted accordingly. Not one leader arose during the biggest crisis or if people want to call it a pandemic, it's not. People aren't dying in the streets. It is a very big crisis, but not one leader rose up. So to say that he should be recalled for that, I don't think so. I think whatever happens I think he should have stayed in office because he didn't prove to be any worse than any other governor. As you're looking, you're seeing DeSantis, who used to be the golden child of how to deal with COVID. Well, he has more COVID cases than ever right now. So is it luck? Is it maybe some backdoor forces? Who knows? And when you look at Gavin Newsom's press conference, he doesn't make you feel good about the choice that's made. No, he doesn't. He seems like the complete politician. He even brought up Trump, who has been out of office, now for almost 2 years. Or no, I'm sorry, 2 years, year and a half or year, whatever. Doesn't matter. I mean, can we move on from that guy? Why do you have to keep bringing up this person? He is a complete politician, and that's it. I think he's done some okay things, great things. No, he has not done anything great. He's serviceable at best. And but definitely a fucking liar. But every other governor is too. So what do we even talk about? And when I saw people on different chats and forums and whatnot just talking about incessantly about that they know, everybody turns into a sociology major or some kind of, when Gavin Newsom doesn't even know how the fuck the chain of command works. You know why he doesn't? Because he won. What the fuck does he care? And he lets everybody else just kind of talk about it. Like, you dum-dums. Would you really think that these guys are in any sort of way looking out for you? There's absolutely no way. They aren't. It doesn't matter what side. And if you haven't learned that yet, I don't know what age you're going to learn that. So you got to take care of yourself, but take care of people around you as well on a local level. But to worry about bigger things like national, you're never going to be the governor. If anybody's out there listening to this right now, true, I do have a large audience. Maybe there's one of you out there that has the possibility of possibly being the governor of a state here in the United States. That's kind of the odds that you're looking at. And even then, those are great odds compared to what it really is. Exactly. So all you can do is take care of yourself, your family, and be a good friend and be a good neighbor and help out everybody else out there. Because tomorrow's never promised, man. Your eye may fall out tomorrow. Or you may be called to Afghanistan and then shipped back because nothing's being done. So I want to take this time to say thank you, everybody that's listened to this podcast and me talking about some ridiculous stuff. As we should. I mean, we need to laugh. We have to. We have to. Because the world is absurd. I mean, I don't know if it's even like really hit me that I almost lost my eye. Like, I was laughing about it that night. But really, the laser surgery, I smelled my eyeball being lasered. It hurt slightly, not bad or anything, but I could feel it. I thought lasers were supposed to be, no, you felt it. It did hurt. And it made it real. And if I hadn't got it done, I'd be talking to you like, "Arr, I'm a pirate right now. And I wear argyles, and I went to the movie and it was rated R." See, you have to laugh at stuff. So we were going to have somebody on earlier tonight. However, maybe she'll be on the next one. We were crossing our fingers. And then I guess one of the last things I want to talk about is I don't think this whole COVID pandemic, or it's not a pandemic as we know, because a pandemic would mean that people are actually dying in the streets. There's nothing we can do, but we'd have to be stepping over bodies, things of that nature. That's a pandemic. We actually are not dying like they say we are. Yes, there are people dying. Yes, people close to me have died, and that's terrible. But if you look at the statistics, the people that did die around me, they were of an older age, or they did have a weight issue. And that leads me to the other day, there was this Hispanic lady. I came out of the Mexican restaurant. I'm going to get my rental car. So, when you see the sunlight, you sneeze. Now, she's probably a good basketball court away from me. And my head is turned, and I'm in the yard where there's nobody around me, and the people are spraying the cars off, for the Enterprise or whatever, getting them ready. There's nobody around me, and so all this spray is everywhere. And for some reason, this lady who's going into the building, I guess, I don't know, she hears me sneeze, and my mask, yes, was down, but I was turned towards the street, nobody around me. And she goes, "Why don't you sneeze in your mask?" And this dum-dum didn't realize that I got tested the day before, because you guys heard my story from last episode. So before I saw my parents, I had to get tested. And I did the 1 hour testing, the most expensive one possible, the $300 gold package. And so I turned and looked at her. I go, "Listen, you dummy, I got tested yesterday." And she goes, "It doesn't matter." And I'm yelling that to her. That's how far away. So then, I understand Hispanic women. I understand something happens to you a lot of times. And I want to take this time to be very, very, I want to have a serious talk with you all. At some point, there comes a time when maybe Sundays and football aren't right for Hispanic women. Or maybe going out to restaurants is no longer right for Hispanic women. The reason I'm saying this is because Hispanic women are beautiful, and they are beautiful up until about the time of 21. And that's kind of like where the crossroads come. You either go one path and you can stay skinny the rest of your life, or you go the what I like to call the pear route, where your shape begins to completely change as a woman. And you have no problem with it because you're going to get that last chips and salsa, or you're going to eat the last bit of the burrito at Acapulco, and you can't be doing that anymore. Somebody needs to have an intervention, is what I'm saying, at some point, because more and more in Southern California here, and probably across the land, we're starting to see a pandemic of other proportions, and that is the proportion of the wide body. Do you understand what I'm saying? You still have a pretty face, but it starts to jut out, like a shape that really probably humans shouldn't have, is what I'm saying. And yes, your man probably puts up with it, because now it starts to be like a little booty, and then it just keeps going and going and going from there, till it's insane, and it's because of your lack of discipline, really, when it comes to food. I know you want to cook for your man. I know that you want to be able to go to brunch on Sundays like everybody else, or go to the park, do all that kind of stuff. I get it. But some people like me, I'm nearsighted, and I was susceptible to retinal tears. So that's why I quit boxing and doing Muay Thai a couple years ago, because my doctor did tell me that. And look what I do. I go run into a wall. But that's what I'm saying. There needs to be some sort of self-discipline on the woman, an Hispanic woman, because like I told the lady that told me not to sneeze, I said, "Listen, you fat fucking piece of shit. You will die from COVID. I won't. Look at you and look at my abs. Look at you and look at me. I'm the picture of health, and you are the picture of diabetes, and you are taking money out of the taxpayer's hand because you refuse to eat properly." And then I went inside because my car was ready, and I saw her sitting there, and I just looked at her. I said, "Keep eating." And she looked at me like I was the biggest piece of shit in the world, which maybe she thinks that's fair, but not really, because all I'm doing is stating the obvious. We're tired of it. And we're tired of, what I'm saying is, you really can't have an opinion when you can't even be disciplined enough to take care of your own body, is what I'm saying. So in saying that, I love everybody, and I love the fact that I have a new lease on life. I can see. And what I can see is that America is good. We just needed to make little tweaks here and there. You know what I mean? That's it. I'm saying this out of the kindness of my heart, the kindness of love, and the kindness of appreciation for all people. But what I don't want to see is wasted talent. So get off your ass. Go tomorrow and do something that you were putting off, whether it was just to clean your room or whether it was to jump in Lake Elsinore out of a damn airplane. Do whatever, something you've been putting off. Maybe it's a phone call. Maybe you should call your mom. Maybe you should call your dad. Maybe you should call your stepdad. Maybe you should call him daddy. Whatever really needs to be done, do something that kind of puts you in an awkward position, but you know is right, that you've been putting off. And that, people, is the essence to life.
Flying high like the birds and the bees, and we'll fill the sky with the songs and the trees, 'cause we're buzzing, buzzing, and we're humming, humming, and we're loving, loving all day. Flying high like the birds and the bees, and we'll feel alive while we float with the breeze, 'cause we're buzzing, buzzing, and we're humming, humming, and we're loving, loving all day. Feels good when I'm near you. I got the whole world in a rear view, but when you're here I can feel you like a summer day in June. Migrate from the bad times now. Love crimes never held me down. We've been through all these grapevines. How we gonna find out truth? Flying high like the birds and the bees, and we'll fill the sky with the songs and the trees, 'cause we're buzzing, buzzing, and we're humming, humming, and we're loving, loving all day. Flying high like the birds and the bees, and we'll feel alive while we float with the breeze, 'cause we're buzzing, buzzing, and we're humming, humming, and we're loving, loving all day. Spread your wings when you're with me, girl. Take a trip, we can feel this world. Leave it all, watch your life unfurl. Let these moments move. Love deeper than the blue that you see now. Way above all the seas with our wings out. Good times, yeah, we got 'em on speed out. Sun shining through. Flying high like the birds and the bees, and we'll fill the sky with the songs and the trees, 'cause we're buzzing, buzzing, and we're humming, humming, and we're loving, loving all day. Flying high like the birds and the bees, and we'll feel alive while we float with the breeze, 'cause we're buzzing, buzzing, and we're humming, humming, and we're loving, loving all day. Flying high like the birds and the bees, and we'll fill the sky with the songs and the trees, 'cause we're buzzing, buzzing, and we're humming, humming, and we're loving, loving all day. Flying high like the birds and the bees, and we'll feel alive while we float with the breeze, 'cause we're buzzing, buzzing, and we're humming, humming, and we're loving, loving all day. You're my honey and I saw my tree, spreading love just like some bumblebees, and I know you're coming back to